All right, welcome to Masechet Negaim. Negaim is Tsarat. Tsarat is when a person has leprosy. That's just an English translation. It's not what it really means. But Tsarat is when a person has a blemish on his body, on his clothing, or in his house, or her house, as it were, in a very, very specifically prescribed way. This is a Masechet that describes in great detail all the different areas and ways that Tsarat can appear. So we're going to start, of course, with an introduction, just reading the very first basic psukim in order to understand what in the world is going on in our Mishnah. Says the Torah, "Vayidaber Hashem Moshe ve'el Aaron lemor." This is Vayikra Perek Yud Gimel. Hashem said to Moshe and Aharon as follows: Adam. This is pasuk bet. I'm going to erase that. Adam, a person, a man. Ki yeh be'or b'sarav. If he has in the skin of his flesh, se'et o sapachat o baheret. Now we're going to discuss these words, obviously. He has a se'et or a sapachat or a baheret. They're untranslatable because it's a kind of blemish, a kind of lightening. Basically, tsarat is where an area of whiteness appears on the skin. Then, that becomes in his skin, the skin of his flesh, a nega, an affliction. By the way, nega from the word laga'at, the touch of God, a touch of tsarat. And he must be brought el Aaron HaKohen. Oh, el achad mibanav HaKohanim, to Aaron or one of his sons. V'ra'ah Kohen et nega be'or habasar. The Kohen should see the nega in the skin of his flesh. V'se'ar ba'nega hafach lavan. And the skin on the nega, on the affliction, turned white. I'm sorry, the hair on the affliction turned white. That's a big deal. Not just the skin is white, but the hair turned white. Umar'eh hanega amok me'or b'saro, and the view, the vision of the appearance of this nega is deeper than the flesh of than the skin. Nega tsaradhu, then that's tsarat ve'ao kohen b'timeoto. So now, as I'll point out, the word sapachat is like a secondary, something tertiary. That's what the word sapachat means. It means secondary. So therefore, sapachat is se'et, if you have a se'et, or a secondary kind of blemish, or a baheret. And then they say the word sapachat is in the middle to show you that sapachat applies both to se'et and to baheret. Se'et and baheret are what's called avot. They are primary negaim, primary blemishes, and then each one has a tolda, a sapachat, a secondary tafel, a tertiary blemish. Now we can, with that introduction in mind, very briefly, we can now understand our Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Mar'od negaim shnayim shehen arba. Okay, so there are two, as we said. Let's go back to the pasuk. Se'et. So let's put that in with different color. Green, baheret. So se'et and baheret two, which are really four, a sapachat for each one. Baheret azak kesheled. So baheret sounds like clear, so it's strong as snow. That's number one. So the first one is as white as snow. Shniala, and its secondary, its tolda, its secondary is kasid ha'hechal, like the plaster in the hechal in the Beit HaMikdash, a very white. So you have snow white. I mean, I'm sure a painter can tell you there's like 8,000 whites. So we're going to learn all about different kinds of whites. So that's baheret is one, and its secondary is like the plaster of the hechal, of the sanctuary. Vase'et, that's the second one. Se'et kikrum beitza. It's like the membrane of an egg, on the part under the shell, the membrane. Shniala kitzemer lavan. Secondary to it is wool white. Different whites. You have egg white, but it's egg. It's like the egg membrane white, and then wool white. Divrei Meir, that's what Rabbi Meir says. So Chachamim agree. They say we agree with baheret and seed. We agree with that, but they say no. Se'et is not krum beitza. Se'et is not the membrane of the egg. No, se'et is kitzemer lavan. It's like tzemer lavan. It's like wool. Shniala krum beitza. And the second one is krum beitza is the membrane of the egg. What in the world is going on here? Why are they arguing? So you have to understand that they color code. All these are color coded. So everyone agrees. Sheleg, snow, is the whitest white. Yeah, but I made you a little color code in the chart. Everyone agrees snow is the whitest white. Everyone agrees krum beitza is the least white. That's what the Bar Tanura says. Okay, sheleg, levana biyoter, most white. Okay, krum beitza, ein lecha keha balivoni. Keha means dark. The darkest white of all of them is krum beitza. Everyone agrees. Okay, and therefore, so he says, the Tanakama, Rabbi Meir says that Beheret, everyone agrees Beheret is the Bahir, clearest one, the whitest one, but he says Se'ed is the darkest one. Okay, so you look at the order, it's 1, 4, 2, 3. That's what Rabbi Meir says. And the reason he says it is because Se'ed means it's higher. I'm sorry, he says, right, Se'ed is raised up. In order to be raised up, it has to be dark, like a shadow. And therefore, he says, the Se'ed, it has to be dark like a shadow, number 1. Whereas the Chachamim say, no, Sheleg is number 1, and then Se'ed is number 2. And then you have 3 and 4. You can just see from the color codes. So they say 1, 4, 2, 3. And the Chachamim say 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope that's clear. You can read it in the Bartanura if you want. What's the nafka mina? Well, the halacha is that the nega has to be a size, has to be a certain size. The size, I would say, of a grease. A grease is what's a grease? How do I translate a grease? A grease is a bean. I knew what it was, but if you look at the Nishmat, where did I find it? The Nishmat website, they say the grease also is the same size. Not only it's the minimum size for Tsarat, it's the minimum size for a ketem, for a stain a woman sees, and it might make her a nida. If she sees a mar'ah, if she sees a stain of blood, and they say it's about 19 millimeters. In Israel, say it's a little bit bigger than a shekel coin. In America, we say it's about the size of in America, we said it's about the size of a nickel. Okay, he says, what's an nafkamina? Shnei arvot mitztarfin. The arvot are mitztarfin, and also, but shtei toladot are not mitztarfot. So let's say, go back to our chart. I have 2 avot. I have sheleg and se'et. So it depends what you say se'et are. I have half of it, half grease of a sheleg and half of semer lavan. So according to Chachamim, those would be mitztaref, etc., etc. So you get the point. So you have to know what an av is, what the av is, and what the tolada is, and why that would be a machloket. All right, we will stop here. We'll conclude our learning of the Mishnah Aleph. We'll dedicate our learning to memory of my father. This is a great introduction to Negaim. We'll get into it in great detail. We'll dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome to our group. You can get these Mishnah out every day on our WhatsApp group or Telegram group, bit.ly/daily Mishnah. Every Mishnah, pretty much I've ever done, is on our website, mishnah.co. Make it a great day.